You are turning left onto a slippery road. What should you do if the back of your vehicle slides to the right? Steer carefully to the right. You are following a vehicle at a safe distance on a wet road. Another driver overtakes you and pulls into the gap you have left. What should you do? Drop back to regain a safe distance. You have just gone through a deep water. What should you do to make sure your brakes are working properly? Go slowly while gently applying the brakes. You are driving along a wet road. How can you tell if your vehicle's tires are losing their grip on the surface? The steering will feel very light. You are driving a vehicle that has anti-lock brakes. How should you apply the foot brake when you need to stop in an emergency? Rapidly and firmly. What's the shortest overall stopping distance on a dry road at 60 miles per hour? 73 meters, 240 feet. What should you do when you are driving in snowy conditions? Brake gently in plenty of time. What should you do when parking your vehicle facing downhill? Turn the steering wheel towards the curb. When are anti-lock brakes of most use to you? When you are braking harshly. In good conditions, what's a typical stopping distance at 70 miles per hour? 96 meters, 315 feet. In very hot weather, the road surface can become soft. What will this affect? The tire grip. What will help when you are trying to move off on snow? Use a higher gear than normal. What should you do when overtaking a motorcyclist in strong winds? Pass wide. What can result when you travel for long distances in neutral, known as coasting? Reduction in control. What would suggest you are driving on ice? There's less tire noise. In which conditions will your overall stopping distance increase? In the rain. When are anti-lock brakes ABS most effective? When you brake promptly and firmly until you have stopped. On what type of road surface may anti-lock brakes not work effectively? Loose. You are driving on an icy road. How can you avoid wheel spin? Drive at a slow speed in as high a gear as possible. You are using a contraflow system. What should you do? Choose an appropriate lane in good time. What's the main benefit of driving a four-wheel drive vehicle? Improved grip on the road. In windy conditions, which activity requires extra care? Passing pedal cyclist. What's the main cause of skidding? The driver. In which conditions are your anti-lock brakes most unlikely to prevent skidding? On loose road surfaces. You are traveling at 50 miles per hour on a good dry road. What's your typical overall stopping distance? 53 meters, 175 feet. You are about to go down a steep hill. What should you do to control the speed of your vehicle? Select a lower gear and use the brakes carefully. What should you do when driving in fog? Allow more time for your journey. You are driving on a wet motorway with surface spray. What lights should you use? Tipped headlights. What does driving a vehicle with anti-lock brakes allow you to do? Stir and brake harshly at the same time. What should you clear of ice and snow before starting a journey in freezing weather? The windows. Where are you most likely to be affected by side winds? On an open stretch of road. By how much can stopping distances increase in icy conditions? 10 times. Anti-lock brakes reduce the chances of skidding. When is this particularly important? When you are braking in an emergency. How can you use your vehicle's engine as a brake? By changing to a lower gear. When will anti-lock brakes take effect? When the wheels are about to lock. You are on a good dry road surface. Your brakes and tires are good. What's the typical overall stopping distance at 40 miles per hour? 36 meters, 118 feet. In heavy motorway traffic, the vehicle behind you is following too closely. How can you lower the risk of a collision? Increase your distance from the vehicle in front. You are following other vehicles in fog. You have your lights on. What else can you do to reduce your chances of being in a collision? Reduce your speed and increase the gap in front. You are driving in freezing conditions. What should you do when approaching a sharp bend? Slow down before you reach the bend. You are driving in a built-up area that has traffic calming measures. What should you do when you approach a road hump? Check your mirror and slow down. Overall stopping distance is made up of thinking distance and braking distance. You are on a good dry road surface with good brakes and tires. What's a typical braking distance from 50 miles per hour? 38 meters, 125 feet. When approaching a right-hand bend, you should keep well to the left. Why is this? To improve your view of the road. You are driving along a country road. You see this sign. What should you do after dealing safely with this hazard? Test your brakes. You are driving on an open road in dry weather. What should the distance be between you and the vehicle in front? A 2-second time gap.